Hi, this is Cassie Wilson with Rawhide Portable Corral, and we're here today to talk about the Symphony in the Flint Hills, which tickets are now on sale at the Abilene Convention and Visitors Bureau. So if you live in Dickinson County, you get a sneak peek. You're able to get tickets early. And my parents, John and Mary McDonald, owners of Rawhide Portable Corral, are the hosts for this year's event at the Deerhorn Ranch. So that's why we're here to kind of prompt you to go take a look, go get some tickets, and see if you can go to this event and get the tickets before anyone else in the state or the nation can, and so you can get them before they run out. Yes. So what else are we going to talk about here?
Tell us about your ranch.
Okay, so the Deerhorn Ranch actually is a new ranch in our family, but my parents have always wanted to own their own large ranch. So they own a ranch here in Dickinson County, and we call that the McDonald Ranch. It's their log home, but when Rawhide got bigger and Mom and Dad were able to spend some money on some other things, this ranch south of Junction had been on the market for quite a long time. So they were able to go take a look, and it's like 2 miles by 2 miles, basically. It's huge. I don't know the exact acreage, and for that I apologize for those of you that may want to know. But it is the Deerhorn. Maybe I think in the future it was called the Leetoff Ranch, which is actually on the National Register of Historic Places. That's what it's listed under. But I think OK Ranch at one time is what it was called as well. So it's gone through a few names, but it was, I think, settled in the 1880s or 1870s. There's actually, which at the event you may not see these because it's so large, but there is an old stone house on the property, and there's actually the original home on the property that was built in the 1870s. So I think that's when it was. And it's actually kind of more of a garage now, but it has an upper and a lower. So upper where you can actually live if you needed to, lower where you could store veggies. It's got one of those cellars, and then also where they used to store or actually house their animals after they had used them. So it's got some neat old buildings on the property. Sadly, there aren't as many old buildings anymore that there used to be. Some of the old barns had been burnt down, or something had happened to them. So there's not as much as there used to be, but it is still a neat old property that you can see off of Highway 57. So that's, Mom and Dad went and took a look at it. We have raised rodeo livestock growing up, and have horses. So Mom and Dad loved ride horses as a family. That's what we'll do. We'll go out to the ranch on a nice day, which actually a month ago we were able to go ride out there and actually stake out where the event is going to be located and kind of picture what it's going to look like in June. But that is something about the facility or the location, is that you can hear a little bit of Fort Riley going on in the background sometimes when they're doing stuff. But really, other than that, unless you get up on the very tops of the bluffs, you get down in the valleys and you forget you're in Kansas. You have, it's beautiful. There's trees, and there's about 12 ponds on the property. I don't think we'll be that close to any of them for the actual event, but it is a beautiful ranch. And so that was, again, one of Dad's thoughts, that someday maybe I'll own a ranch. And so since with Rawhide Portable Corral, what we do is we manufacture portable corrals, so portable livestock equipment, for ranchers. And a lot of our customers are farmer ranchers, so they do both. They deal with crops and they deal with cattle. And Dad knows animals, has worked with animals, designed this product with the use of how to corral bucking bulls. Not a lot of people have experience working with bucking bulls, but they can be a bit of a bear. And so we always joke that all of our prototypes are tested on rodeo livestock. So Rawhide Portable Corrals are the best on the market, and it has proven to be a good business for Mom and Dad. And so as the business got better, Dad felt like, I work with all these people, and we provide them with portable facilities for their beef ranches. A lot of our customers have Angus cattle or crossbreeds, and they're raising beef for production and consumption. And so he thought, I want to be one of those people now. I'm able to do that. So when he bought this ranch, he had it in mind that he was going to buy cattle. So he then bought about 200 head of Black Angus cattle, and then got some bulls from some of our customers, and now has his own herd going as well. So that's kind of the reason why, and how we kind of pair and show the connection with Rawhide Portable Corral, and the reason why John and Mary McDonald bought this ranch was so that they could, kind of live their dream in a sense of do a little bit more and do something versus what they hadn't been able to do in the past. Growing up, we weren't Rawhide. Rawhide's only 15 years old. I'm 32, and I'm the oldest of 3 children, and I am their daughter. And so we didn't grow up with this. This is new to us. It was started my senior year in high school. And so, mom and dad are able now to live, especially with 3 kids out of the house and grandkids that they can spoil. They're able to do things they weren't able to do when they were a fledgling business, when they were trying to make something happen. And so it's just great that they're able to have this location to have family events, to go just take a ride and forget where you are. And it's just really cool that we're able to do that. And so I like the fact that when they were contacted by the committee to see if they wanted to host such an event, Dad was immediately like, yes. I want people to know that this is in Kansas, because when he first toured the property, way before they even put down an offer, they rode the ranch with a couple of their friends on horses. So if anybody has ever done that, it's quite an ordeal. It takes a lot more time than just hoofing it, or, well, of course, if you're walking it, it would take longer, but versus driving the property, riding it on horse, you get a sense of the property, how hard it must have been if you were crossing that area in a wagon, coming across the plains, what you would have had to have done, because it goes from bluffs into valleys, and there's all those limestone rocks that are along the ridges of all the bluffs. And Dad was just, like I mentioned earlier, you forget you're in Kansas. You could be anywhere else. But what's great is you are in Kansas. You're in, actually, that property being Geary County. You're there, and you're able to experience and get a feel of what it was like, because you can get to certain places on the property where you can't see anybody else. And so it's really great that the facility or the grounds are going to be hosting it, because Dad wants to share that with other people. And that being the focus and kind of the theme around the Flint Hills, or the Symphony in the Flint Hills, it just works hand in hand. But what's ironic is that actually the previous owner, I believe maybe 5 or 7 years ago, had actually hosted some mid-year events before the actual symphony. So it has never been a location for the actual performance and big days, but it has been a location for, I think, like a meal or something that was promoting a past year's event. So that's kind of neat too. They had that tie-in and that connection. So I think maybe before or just after they signed on the papers to buy the ranch, they were contacted. So I think this is a site that they've wanted to utilize, and that they're glad they're able to. And my family, my parents, are excited to be sharing that with other people. Now, tying into Dickinson County and why Dickinson County should be excited is the event this year is going to be tying into the Chisholm Trail's 150th anniversary. Now, if you're like me, growing up in the area, Abilene's the end of the Chisholm Trail, high school mascot's the cowboy, we have Old Abilene Town and all this stuff. But what have we done about it? And that's what, our family kind of likes to promote, because we go around, our portable corrals are in 43 states and 2 countries. And anytime someone talks to us, oh, you guys are in Abilene, Kansas, cowboys, Wild West. And so we need to think just like all these other people do. And so this year's Symphony event is going to, tag in with our 150th celebration and promote that. And so that's why Dickinson County, Geary County, Riley County, are all kind of involved in these early ticket sales, because it will sell out fast. From what we've heard, within maybe a day or 2, Kansas City, the big metropolitan areas, they see the benefit in coming out to rural Kansas, acting like, believing you're somewhere where this is when Indians ran across the plains. This is what happened, Put yourself in the shoes of the men and women that traversed across the plains in covered wagons, getting from one place to the other. And if you're from Dickinson County and your family's been here for a while, kind of like mine has, that probably could have been some of your ancestors that were doing that. And so the people in the metropolitan areas see that, and they want to go experience it. But those of us that live here, let's capitalize on that. Let's go back to our roots. Let's take let's think about what it had been like, and maybe what some of our ancestors had seen. And when you're out on a ranch like that is just beautiful, you're not seeing anything else but the prairie and Flint Hills and limestone. As you walk from where you park and walk up, you're going to get that sense of, wow, on one hand, you're out in the middle of nowhere, but also you're only like 10 minutes south of Junction City. So how crazy is that? People just kind of don't realize that's right there. And so that's the thing that, me just as a person, as a member of a family that's, my husband's a 6th or 7th generation Dickinson County farmer. My mom is from a family that's been here, I think she's a 4th generation Dickinson County resident, and my dad's family's a little bit different, but regardless, we are all from here and have been here. And I think we want to get back to that and see, what was it like, and how can we, just kind of picture ourselves. So I know that's a lot to take in and a lot to think about, but I challenge Dickinson County. As from me to you, from Cassie Wilson to whomever may be watching or listening at this time, buy a ticket, invest in it. Because one thing I have heard, they are expensive. They're $90 tickets. However, what you're going to be doing is it's an entire day. You're not getting a ticket for a 2-hour performance. You're going out, you're experiencing the event, and you're going to be taking in the surroundings. There's a whole bunch of other things that are going on from what I understand, and from what I've been told by my parents is there are multiple tents with different activities. I think there's kids activities and there's stuff you can learn from. I think there's other like Cowboy Poetry, I think, has a tent and some other stuff. So you get to learn and feel a bunch of different aspects from the Wild West or the prairie or the Flint Hills or whatever aspect you want to take in from history, because this year is going to have all of that tying in with the Chisholm Trail and just being out there, whether you're of a farmer background or of a ranching and maybe have a connection to the Wild West. You're going to be able to feel that this time. So I challenge you, you're from here, maybe you feel like it's expensive, treat it as a date night. Go, invest in that experience, because when will it be this close to Dickinson County? We don't know if it will ever be this close again, but now's our chance. And so I know my family and I are getting tickets, and I'm excited because I want my 3.5-year-old to experience it. I'm hoping he remembers it, but we're going to take a lot of pictures. And pass this on, experience the weekend or, the day and what it all entails. And, thank those that have made it happen, from the hosts like my parents that are, letting 7,000 people and whatever else may go into the operations of the event come to their ranch. Hopefully it doesn't rain, because I know that could be a little bit of a bummer, but they're opening their doors, so to speak. Come onto their property, work with the Flint Hills, see an awesome performance and other things that can be there. So really, I challenge you to do it, because Dickinson County is getting this opportunity for early tickets, and I think it's just super exciting. I manage, I think, 5 social media accounts, and I have blasted it everywhere, and I will be blasting this and forwarding this on as well, because we have until, I believe it's Thursday. Just 3 days to buy these tickets before they're open to everybody else. And I think they open up next week to everybody else. So they're gone in a flash. And so I know that's why we want to challenge you to invest in it. Take a look at the website, see what they've done in the past. Just Google Symphony in the Flint Hills. I don't know the exact website, but that'll get you there. And see what they have to offer. So, maybe treat it as a big family experience. I know I have friends from college that have stated this is something that they've wanted to do, that was on their parents' bucket list, just go to one. Well, if you live in this area, this is the one to go to. So if you have questions, I know the Abilene Convention and Visitors Bureau is the place to go. They're also the ones selling it. So it's in the Civic, the old depot, the Civic Center office. They're off of, I think it's like 201 Northwest 2nd in Abilene. So go, ask questions, buy tickets. I don't know what else we may want to talk about, but I think I've rambled probably long enough. And if anyone knows me, I could go on and on, but I think we've hit the main points. McDonald's have opened up their ranch, Deerhorn Ranch, so if you're driving down and want to take a peek at where the location is at, coming from Interstate 70, you take exit 300, I believe, so you're technically kind of Grandview Plaza. It's Highway 57, you go south, and I think it's about 4 miles. It'll go south, kind of zigzagging a couple miles, and you'll go east. You'll cross Clark Creek Road, you'll go by Burley Hill Road, and it'll curve south. Now, actually, Burley Hill Road is where the access into the property is going to be for the event. So the event is actually on the northern ridge of the property, but the property extends for another, I think, 1.5 miles, almost 2 miles south. So you can drive by down Highway 57 and see, you know, the First Valley. There's a couple properties right off the highway that aren't part of the ranch, but it's all behind it. And then you'll see there's a big old limestone rock that says Deerhorn Ranch right by the limestone house and the old limestone house, which are right next to each other. So that's where it's going to be. And if you ever, you know John or Mary and want to ask them questions about it, you can. But for the event, the actual organization that does the Symphony in the Flint Hills is the one that knows what's going on and what's happening. John and Mary are simply opening their doors and letting you in. So take a look at it, but really you can be 10 minutes from Junction City and at this event. So that's all I have. I don't want to take up any more of your time, but just note the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. Oh, and the 24th. My apologies, Friday. So for the next 3 days after today, you are able to go buy tickets at the Convention and Visitors Bureau in Abilene, Dickinson County, Geary, and Riley also. But if you live in Dickinson County, you're able to go to that location to buy tickets early. So also with my hat as the Vice Chair of the Abilene Area Chamber of Commerce, let's support an Abilene business as well. So we are, you know, as Rawhide Portable Corral, going to be taking part in this also. And so I just want to thank everyone for their support, and you know, we're going to make this year's event happen, and I'm looking forward to it, and I hope to see you there. So I don't think I have any other questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.